Today we're going to talk about replacing the landing light cover. I've got a 2007 Evektor Sportstar, and if you'll notice right here, there's this brown spot. What I think happened was the people that created this lens actually used a butane torch or some type of torch, something with a lot of heat, because a butane torch, we're talking 1,500 degrees. So that was way too much for what they were doing here, but I think that's probably what happened. It does look like a burn mark and highly unlikely that the light would do it. But what I'm trying to show you here is, and why I'm creating the video is because I don't want anybody else to make the same mistake. I couldn't find a video that could tell me how to address a landing light cover or just a cover itself. And it was very frustrating, probably have 12 man hours into this. And as my son said, 6 of the hours were breaking things. Fortunately, I had all the equipment, had to buy some rivets, but other than that, I had the staple or the rivet gun, the heat gun, the vise, the pipe, some of the other stuff that I'll show you. Temp taker, temperature reader. That was very necessary. So when I finally got to a point where I wanted to know, I had looked, couldn't find anything online for a replacement. I called the place and they said that they could make a jig and make this cover with what I had asked them if there was some type of aviation acrylic, and the guy said yes, but whatever that means. And he was quoting me a price of $750. So I had the equipment and I had the desire to do this. So that's why I undertook the process. Again, what I'm showing you is some of the day. It was, hazy. Other than that middle part, and I mean, it was like when you turn the lights on at night, it was terrible. I mean, just you couldn't see crap. There's the bottom side of it. And here's a video of the difference between acrylic and polycarbonate. That stuff just collapsed on me. It was just garbage, 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 garbage. The acrylic. Didn't realize the lens was made out of polycarbonate until made a mistake with the acrylic. Oh, drilled a hole into the acrylic and it just started snapping. It was just really disheartening, actually, but learned a lot in that first few hours of messing with stuff. The rivets, I tell you specifically what rivets to get, but unfortunately, I don't know how big your holes are, so it could be you're going to have to figure that one out. Rivets, rivet gun, heat gun, drill bits, temperature probe, leather gloves. Absolutely have to have leather gloves, couple of pairs, because you're going to most likely need some help. Here's the temperature probe that I have. Worked great. The acrylic can bend at 240 degrees, where the polycarbonate is 340, 350, 360, somewhere like that. If anybody's curious what's behind me, I do trading during the day. You can check out profitsacceleration.com if you're interested in knowing more. We've got drill bits. Once again, you're going to have to fit the drill bit with the rivet that you've got to use. Ended up, I went to Ace Hardware where I got the acrylic. Last minute kind of thing. The kid didn't really know what to do. I mean, it was nobody's fault other than the fact that there was nothing on YouTube to give me any direction. So end up figuring out it was polycarbonate that I needed, and you can go get a nice 12 by 12 sheet from Home Depot for $9.98. Now, Lexan, apparently, from what I watched on YouTube, has UV protective properties, something like supposed to last 10 years. So that's good. Not really sure what happens after 10 years, but I'm assuming it starts to show some wear. Now, because the polycarbonate needs to fit inside the housing, I mean, so you have your cover, and then you have the lens, the plastic, the polycarbonate, and that's got to fit inside the housing. It can't fit outside of the housing. Otherwise, you've got the aluminum cover, the plastic, and then it just doesn't work that way. It's got the polycarbonate has to fit inside that housing, and this has to be Dremeled out. I mean, Dremel worked fantastic. I mean, I was able to shave off, get it right there, because you also have to have room for the rivets. So you need to shape the edges. I've got a bench that I bought from Harbor Freight, and I've got a vise that I bought from Harbor Freight. So, so you can figure out how much you need, and you can kind of get, you know, the closer you can get, the better. It'll just make your job easier if you could cut it while it's still flat and laying down. Here's my vise. I've got a couple of clamps. C-clamps are great. I don't know where I got them. Probably Harbor Freight, Northern Tool. Years of collecting stuff. You also need a drill, so you can drill the drill bits, or you can put the drill bits in to drill the holes for the rivets. I had a heat gun, very important, and I also had a butane torch, and you'll see why in a moment. The pseudo Dremel, Harbor Freight, $10. I also bought these extra. It came with some cutters, but I bought the extra cutters, well worth the money. They worked really well. They do get dulls, so you need to have more than, you know, you need more than one. I went through 2 of them. So once again, using clamps, clamped it on. Basically, the aircraft is painted, and I could see where some of the edges were. So I was able to get some of this down to a point so it was close. So I wasn't trying to trim a bunch off. But keep in mind, once you start bending this stuff, it gets longer. So you can't mount it when it's flat, because it's going to change shapes and get longer when you start to heat it. Okay, so this is the aluminum piece that the polycarbonate mounts to. You'll see there's bolt holes that holds it onto the plane, and then there's the rivet holes that holds the plastic in place. Another look at it. This was actually the top. Hopefully you can see the cursor. Once again, mounting it, trying to cut it as close as possible, yet make sure you don't cut too deep, because you've got to have enough room for those rivets to grab onto some meat. Let's see, this is a video. So what I did was, I happened to have a tube or a pipe, and I put it on the vise. I heated up the pipe so that so that when I put the polycarbonate on over the top of this, it had a little more heat, because once again, it takes 340, I would say it was probably up to 360, 370, 380 before you really get it warm enough to let it bend. And you have to be able to, when it's bending, you can't bend it to a point. You've got to bend it so it's round. It has to be round, not to a point, because if you just try heating it in one spot and then bend it, you'll end up with this. You've got to end up with this. It's got to be round so that it's round. So once again, we're talking, probably 350, 400 degrees, and the pipe underneath was allowing additional heat to rise up and keep it heating as the bending was happening. And make sure you don't touch the heat gun to the polycarbonate, otherwise you scar it. Right here, this is bent to a point where it's getting close. We measured the distance of that. Well, let's go back here. Oh, so if you look right here, on the plane we measured the distance and we knew it was 5.5 inches. So that was what we were going for. So 5.5 inches. So we kept bending it until we got to about 5.5, knowing it was pliable enough, because we figured either way, if we bent it too much, we could probably pull it out and be okay. If we didn't bend it enough, I would say we probably had 1 inch of tolerance both ways. So that gave us 2 inches. Had to keep heating it to round it and, avoid that point. You've got to be able to bend it around so that it doesn't get to a point. The leather gloves, absolutely had to have them. I mean, because you're using your fingers to move that, and it's 350, 400 degrees. Yeah, you can feel the heat. This is when it was mounted on the plane. If you notice that there's quite a few rivets that aren't put in when we first mounted it, because we need to make sure that it fit in the first place. And then we realized once we had the cover on, which was the bolts on, then drilling holes and riveting it in was the simple part. Here it is completed. Looks great. I mean, it's just really nice. Oh, and you'll notice I have a cheap yoga mat, so I can lay on the ground. I can roll it up and do whatever I need to do there. This is another video. The plan was to take this generator out and
this thing says 6.5 amps, and this thing says 8 amps to...
yeah, hopefully I didn't burn up that engine, but it didn't last very long. It ended up shutting down. Hopefully it shut down because of its own switches. It's the same one. So that was my my success with this. Once again, we went from this crazy crappy thing to this nice shield. It just lights up the runway. Fantastic. You know what? I thought there was, there is one more. Best practices. Polycarbonate. You can't use anything else. Get it to the correct temperature and avoid overheating. And don't touch the polycarbonate with whatever you're heating it with, otherwise you'll scar it. Realize that the front needs to be rounded, so you need feed the polycarbonate, otherwise it'll form a point, which that you can't do that. Put a few rivets in at the top and one or two on the top side, but don't do the bottom because you don't know exactly where that is going to rest until you get it on the plane. Yet try to get it as close to the correct mounting angle as possible. Like I said, I'd say you have an inch you could go up or an inch you could squeeze it. I did most of the riveting on the plane because after the polycarbonate is heated, it gets longer. And because it allows you to move it better inside the case. And then you'll need a Dremel so that you can keep shaping the edges so it'll fit inside the body of the housing, because it just can't sit outside. Otherwise you have it's just wrong. So that is what I wanted to share with my aviation friends, and we will talk to you later. Safe flying.